Okay, I just want you to know that youth are a vibrant aspect of any society. Like, I'm a youth passionate person. I'm a youth myself, and everything I've been doing revolves around the youth. So, because you cannot do without the youth, youth is the fulcrum in which any nation depends solely on. Youth are vibrant aspect of our society, and their security and safety depends solely on the achievement of sustainable goal. Any government and society that fail in its responsibility to protect life and interests of our youthful citizens, millennial goals are difficult to achieve, and such a society are relegated in the committees of nations. Youth need to be safe in terms of their security and in terms of their well-being, according to Sustainable Development Goal 8, which talked about the decent work and economic growth, and Goal 16, which talked about the peace, justice, and strong institution. Let me cast our mind back. You see, every time international organization, international community, and government at all levels, they always project to achieve sustainable development goal within a certain year. They will give themselves maybe 50 years, maybe 30 years, maybe 40 years. We view that youth who are the engine room of that nation will make it a realization without taking into cognizance many factors which may not allow this same youth, this projection to come to reality or to come to pass, most especially in Africa. Okay, I'm talking about Africa here because most of the time in the Western world, they might not face what we are facing in this part of the world. Okay, now living in this part of the world is so challenging for the youth. I must emphasize that many times, many times, it is difficult or seem difficult to achieve even one out of these 17 millennium sustainable goal if in Africa here. Because of what? Because of poverty, because of hunger, because of unemployment, because of insecurity, because of killing, and because of the oppression that we are facing every day. It is so challenging that on a daily basis, you need so many securities. Let me put it that way. So many security in order for them to sustain. What are these security? Security that you should enjoy, to have a better life and achieve their God-given objective include the following: security of life and property, securities of food, securities of education, securities of our immediate environment, security of the future, which is their family, security of their community, and security of necessity. You see, these are many more, are some of the security that I decided to talk about. There are more than this, but I decided to talk about this because they are the basic need that we want. Security of life, everybody, every youth need to be alive in order to realize their potentials. You see, in this part of the world, premium are not placed on securities of life. In a country where I came from, so many youth are dying on a daily basis that you can ever imagine. And nothing much is done about them in order to alleviate this suffering. You see, as a result of insecurities alone, a lot of youth are dying on a daily basis. And government at all levels are not doing much in order to save the life of a youth. That is why I went into an initiative which says Save My Life Initiative. It's an initiative that I created, just recently, because I see the way youth are dying on a daily basis, and I believe there's something that we can do about it. The second one, securities of property. You see, if you move in the street of Lagos, where I came from, You will see a lot of you that are sleeping under the bridge. Their life does not worth anything. In fact, their life is worthless according in the eye of some people. That what is the worth of your life? So you are now expecting that kind of person to achieve sustainable development goal. And here in Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. Now, if the teeming youth are facing these challenges on a daily basis, now how do you want us in this part of the world to achieve sustainable development goals? See, injury to one is an injury to all. Somebody sitting down in Michigan or somebody sitting down in Miami, in Florida, might not really be concerned about what is happening in Nigeria. But I can tell you that the world is now a global village where what happens to one part of the country affect the total continent as a whole, affect the world as a whole. Who would have thought that what is happening in Ukraine will affect we that is in Nigeria, that will not see grains to eat? It shows that the world is not a global village. So we must not allow that. That is the essence of where I'm driving to. The third one is security of our immediate environment. We realize that our environment has been decimated with insecurity. Our environment has been subjected to chaos, to problems that we either caused by ourselves or that we either or that some people motivated it or allow it to happen. Youth are facing a lot in this part of the world. That is the essence of what I'm trying to say. Youth are facing a lot, and this same issue that they are facing do not even allow them to think about themselves, but they are firstly thinking about their tummy. If they can feed their tummy very well, then they will not even think about what is happening in their household, not to now talk of what is happening in their community or what is happening in the whole country generally. How do you now want such youth to perform optimally when their environment is being chaotic, when their environment is full of one crime or the other, one problem or the other, insecurity here, insecurity that people are dying every day? How do you want such a person to have a view of what sustainable development might look like? Do they even have it at all? Were they even talking about it? That is another question entirely. The next one is security of their future. You see, when you are okay on your own, when you can think on your own, when you can get basic need of life on your own, then you will not be thinking about your family. You will not be thinking about how to raise a family, how you want your life to be, how you want the life of your family to be. But let's assume that somebody is not able to fend for himself very well, or somebody is not able to to earn a living. Now, how do you want to raise a family? Then, how do you want to think about how the life of your family should be? Because even you yourself, you are not even okay. Then when you now have this family, let's say one way or the other, you now have this family by any means, then can you achieve a sustainable goal if the family are not in good condition, or maybe you are just struggling to feed them, or you are just 24 hours on how they can feed alone? You wouldn't. You wouldn't even think about that. The only thing you'll be thinking about is how to take care of this family first. Then every other thing might not be your priority. Every other thing might not be your concern, because even your immediate environment, you are not settled. You are not okay. No favorable environment. It is such a pathetic situation. I created Global Safety Service Management Organization because I was thinking about providing a job. In my environment alone, a lot of youth I see on a daily basis is driving me crazy. There are so many of them took to so many kind of crime because there's no means of livelihood, securities of work. Now, unemployment is on the rise in my own country. Many people that do not have job before are on ground waiting to have job. Why those ones that have a job before, they are losing it. Now, in that situation, how do you now think of? And we all know what all this sustainable development is talking about. I'm trying to see if I can lay my hands on some of those sustainable development goals. Okay. Okay, let me just move forward because of our time. Now, one of the sustainable development goals is talking about how to get a job and live a good life. One of them is talking about how to eradicate poverty. One of them is talking about how to remove hunger. Now, when you do not have security of work, now how do you now want to feed yourself very well? Or how do you want to escape hunger when all these are not even available in the first place? The next one is security of education. Every youth will have basic right to education. I know in Western world, they are trying their best to give a lot of youth free education. In this part of the world, education is just you go to school with everything that you have. People go to school in this part of the world with loan just because they want their children to be educated. They put everything they have in their education, in which naturally is supposed to come in an easy way, or it is just too difficult for students to attend education in this part of the world. You see, to combine all this, you see, one thing led to another. I want you to take note of that. One thing led to another. If all these securities are not there, then we now move to factors working against youth in functioning. You see, it is important to say that the youth, the point I highlighted above, if it is not available, can also be a factor which may hinder youth from realizing their goal. However, so many other factors militating and working against the peaceful coexistence of youth, which are either physical or psychologically, which reduces their efficiency or their capacity to function effectively in an environment, include their parental factor, educational factor, just like I mentioned earlier, environment factor, government factor, and self factor. What do I mean by this? You see, we always make a proverb in my own local village that a child that is not well brought up ended up going into a crime. Okay, now if parents, maybe somebody is maybe somebody do not have a parent that is well to do, or somebody do not have a parent that cater for them properly, or somebody do not have a parent that can send them into an that can educate them properly and send them to school, then such a youth, one way or the other, will take to crime. Because in the process of looking for ways and means in which he can better his life, one way or the other, something will demand another thing from him. And somehow, I'm not saying it's all of them, but research has shown that 50% of them took to crime because of their parental factor. And this factor are one of the factors which has a very strong hold on either developing youth raise them to become someone important, or destroy them totally and condemn them to become a common criminal. And some of them took to criminality like drug pushing, drug taking, drug abusers, internet fraudsters, armed robbery, terrorism, human trafficking, ritualists, and ritual killing, corruption and educational malpractices. These are some of the things that youth take into if they do not have a parent that can nurture them, that can train them in a better way to direct their life in the right direction. These are some of the things they take to train them, nurture them, the children to be a responsible member of the society. If parents are lacking behind in this area of their responsibility, the children suffer for it. If you do not uh, have a parent that can take care of them in these very, very important areas, I'm a security expert, and I'm talking from experience. Many times I will be in my corner, they will bring children. By the time you look at their route, you realize that they do not have a parent that take good care of them. Some of them have a guardian, and this guardian do not even care about them, so they will rather take to crime to survive and make enhancement. The next one is educational factor. This is one of the factors which relegate the youth to either third class citizen or to the bottom of the pyramid in a country of their origin. You see, education is very, very important for our youth. Okay, I'm being told my time is really running out. Education is important for our youth, and our youth must be given adequate education. It is lacking behind in this part of the world. I must tell you the fact. The number and statistic of youth in this part of the world is so low compared to Western world. And this, we must put a stop to this or do everything in our power to make sure that we overcome these challenges. Environmental factor. The environment that a child is born to also determine to a large extent what happens in the life of that child. Government factor are there. Our government do not even care about what happens to us in this part. But we still must stress the need for them to do the needful in order for us to have an efficient youth, a youth that is responsible to be able to achieve the sustainable development goal that everybody are clamoring for. Both Western world, both Europe, America, Asia, everybody are clamoring to achieve this sustainable development goal. Why is it difficult to achieve in Africa? It is because of this factor that I mentioned earlier. Okay, let's go to the solution. Solution to all these challenges. The solution are not far-fetched. They are not far-fetched at all. Only okay, we need to intensify effort in bringing support to African youth through many means, which are African African youth should be pulled out of poverty through many international aid, like grants, international loan. We're still talking about a broad thing now. We're still talking about international thing, how they can help our youth in this part of the world. They can help through grant, through international loan. Secondly, technology should be fully brought to Africa youth, or a platform should be created to encourage African youth in technological areas. Third, making international education a priority. Easy education abroad, easy international educational loan, scholarship and fellowship. These and many more can help our African youth. Assisting African private organizations in area of need to be able to assist the youth in that region. I learned Mandela Washington Fellowship is doing a lot in Nigeria. Obama Foundation is also in Nigeria. that is helping so many African youth in order to have basic skill abroad. And by the time they come back to their country, they become a useful person. I can count the number of people that this initiative has helped. Another one is assisting African private organization in area of need to be able to assist their youth in that region. Now, stigmatization of any kind should be abolished. I was in Dubai. I faced what is called stigmatization simply because of my skin. So stigmatization should be abolished totally concerning African youth. Partnership and encouragement of entrepreneurship and youth-oriented program, international seminar, and youth inclusiveness across Africa, youth inclusiveness across Africa and in abroad and in Africa. What we are saying is that they can partner some of those organizations that are useful oriented in order to help some certain this organization. I went through a lot. And after getting this organization, just to help our youth, partnership is another area that I was having challenges with because it takes a lot. It's a shame process before I could get my company registered. So it takes just because I just want to help the youth in my area. I'm facing the how much more you that do not have any help at all that are looking for how to eat alone. Abolishment of corruption. Government in Africa should also be encouraged. They should also be encouraged to look for youthful-oriented programs in order for youth in Africa, in Nigeria, to be able to achieve sustainable development goal. This is painful. This is our cry. This is our advocacy. And we hope that one day, African youth can raise their head up high and achieve this sustainable development goal. Thank you very much.